Hello and welcome. You have tuned into Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. I'm Shrishti Sharma. With me is Cheryl D'Souza. And viewers, this is the show where you get answers for all your stock-related queries. In a short while from now, you get an opportunity to connect with us live on a WhatsApp number that will be flashing on the top of your screen. But before that, let's have a look at what the markets are up to. So, Cheryl, the cheer is back onto the markets. There were strong global cues, and as of now, we are trading very close to the day's highest point.
Absolutely. A very good morning to you, Shrishti. A bright morning coming in for the markets. As you can see it on your screen, a sharp moves, up move coming in for the benchmark indices. We are seeing gains in excess of 160 points when it comes to the Nifty, surpassing the 21,600 mark. And this is after having muted trading sessions of late. Talking about Nifty Bank, it is actually outperforming the benchmark indices a tad bit in today's trading session. 9-10% uptick coming in for Nifty Bank. Also, the last 1 hour or so, you saw actually banks adding to that jump in the market. So, be it ICICI Bank, SBI, Bajaj Finance, all of them have seen a good up move over the last 1 hour or so, and that's actually transpired in such strong moves coming in for Nifty Bank, also contributing to the gains on the Nifty index. So advance decline ratio right now very much tilted in the favor of the advances. Talking about who are the gainers today, you have the Adani twins on the Nifty that are actually the top gainers on the Nifty, followed by Tata Motors. Short while from now, we'll have Shrishti actually explain to us what's happening in Tata Motors as well as Bajaj Auto. You have Hero MotoCorp holding on to good gains about 1.7%. Bajaj Auto also a part of the Nifty gainers. While on the flip side, on the losing end of the market, you only have a handful of losers today. So you have Nestle, that's the top loser on the Nifty with cuts about 1% or so. Then you have ONGC, Britannia, UPL. Those are the other stocks that are actually losing in trade today. Let's talk about the sectoral indices and what the picture is there. What's the picture like there right now? And talking about sectoral indices, all of them are gaining in trade. With the IT sector in the lead once again, with the IT sector gaining about 1.3%. You have realty, metal also seeing strong gains in trade today. So that's the way how the markets are transpiring as of now. You have good gains coming in for the benchmarks, but let's talk about Tata Motors and Bajaj Auto. Shrishti, in particular, why both of these counters? Because you have news-based developments in both of them. But what's the significance of both of those news?
So firstly, on the Tata Motors, we have the JLR update coming in for the third quarter and a big buyback announcement coming in for Bajaj Auto, and that's why we are discussing both of these stocks. Firstly, on Tata Motors, the third quarter of JLR seems to be pretty decent, wherein the wholesales has seen a jump of close to 4% sequentially, while their retail sales have seen a jump of 2% quarter on quarter, wherein their order book has has come a little lower to 148,000 units for the quarter three. That's a decline of 20,000 units on a quarter-on-quarter basis, but that's on the expected line. The key to note in this data is that this time the company didn't come out with its free cash flow number, which used to be a big positive trigger for the stock, because the analysts were actually tracking the kind of debt reduction plans the company has, the kind of a growth in their free cash flow number. So that number is actually missing, but JP Morgan is highlighting that going ahead in the results, this number will be the key to watch. Their debt reduction plans, as well as JP Morgan continues to have their overweight stance on this one with a target price of 925 rupees. So that's the news flow on Tata Motors. We're talking about Bajaj Auto then. The company came out with a buyback announcement of 4,000 crores of buyback, and a buyback price is 10,000 rupees. That's a premium of almost 40% since yesterday closing, and this is going to be through a tender route, which means that the buyback price is decided and the investors are waiting for a record date. Until when, if they have these shares, they can go ahead and tender these shares in the buyback. But the key question is that what sort of an acceptance ratio will be there in this particular buyback, because 40 lakhs is the buyback size in terms of shares. 6 lakhs is what for retailers, there's a quota for them. But Nuvama has actually come out with a note where they are highlighting that the acceptance ratio could be really less, because the promoters, if the promoters also participate in this particular buyback, then the acceptance ratio for the retail investors could be actually lower, and they are expecting to be around 1.3%, with the best case scenario reaching to 1.5%. and this means that from today's upside, from today's market price, the upside on the gains could be a little limited. So that's the announcement on buyback, but definitely the kind of a buyback price that the company has come out with, 10,000 rupees, is definitely a big positive and a big premium since yesterday's closing.
All right, so those are the details coming in for the buyback for Bajaj Auto. Also, Tata Motors Q3 numbers particularly coming in for JLR. But what does this mean? The fact that the Bajaj Auto's buyback is at a premium, should you actually go ahead and invest in the stock right now? Or if you already invest in the stock, what should you do? Should you actually tender those shares in the buyback or no? And also, what should you do with Tata Motors if you're invested in? I know Kunal will always say that yes, stay long on Tata Motors, but hopefully let's see what he says for the near term. So let's bring on board our experts for today. We have Kunal Bothra on the technicals, while on the fundamentals, we have Mr. G. Chokalingam joining us. Very good morning to both of you. Thank you so much for joining us on Buy Now Sell Now. Mr. Chokalingam, let me first come to you. We know that Bajaj Auto has announced a buyback. The buyback price that they've set is at around 10,000 rupees per share. But like Shrishti was saying, the acceptance ratio for retail investors is likely to be low. What does this mean for retail investors who are already holding Bajaj Auto? What sort of a route should they kind of adopt when it comes to this buyback? And also, what's your take coming in on Tata Motors?
Yeah, good morning. I think it's a positive development for Bajaj Auto shareholders in general, but the impact will not be very significant because, as your colleague rightly mentioned, they are buying back just 1.41% of the paid-up capital. So even if retail investors get offer for 2 share of every 100 share held, practically the impact in monetary terms will not be substantial. On the other hand, if you look at the fundamentals, it trades at around 25 times FY25, 1 year forward earning. I think this is fairly priced, though it is doing extremely well on the domestic front. Exports have grown only around 2 to 3% in the recent month, and exports account for almost 40% of the total sales. And I don't see any big uptick on export front for Indian two-wheelers in the short term. So therefore, considering all these facts and also the fact that the stock has already moved up nearly 100% from the bottom, I think this is a good opportunity to book profits. On Tata Motor, one can hold on because in terms of valuation, it is slightly cheap, not slightly, significantly cheaper than Bajaj Auto. Not only that, they are making good progress on electric vehicle front. And considering these facts, one can hold on Tata Motor for another 5 to 10% gain. Once it reaches 5 to 10%, then one can exit Tata Motor. Otherwise, one can continue to hold Tata Motors.
So that's the take coming in on both of these counters. For retail investors, Bajaj Auto is offering a good opportunity to make an exit, while for Tata Motors, one can hold on still at these levels. But Kunal, how are the charts looking like for both of these stocks? Both of these shares are very near to their all-time high levels. Bajaj Auto is already there, and for Tata Motors as well, a fresh 52-week high for this counter. How are you looking at the charts?
Well, very good morning, and my sense is also very similar to what Mr. Chokalingam said on Bajaj Auto and Tata Motors. I think Bajaj Auto is getting into an extremely overbought territory. So I was actually looking at the RSIs for both of the stocks comparatively. So for example, the RSIs on the weekly charts is almost 90 for Bajaj Auto as compared to an RSI which is around 74, 75 for a stock like Tata Motors. So this compares the kind of relative strength these stocks would probably have and the nature of overbought indicators for these stocks. I would probably believe that buying these stocks at an RSI of 90 plus may not be a fruitful risk reward for traders who are looking to buy. I mean, if you're trading on the buyback news, then it's a separate ball game altogether. But purely on the basis of charts and in terms of trends, initiating a buy at current levels generally has not been rewarding, even if you are a medium to long term investor. So I would probably refrain from entering the stock at current levels. But I think Tata Motors could be a good bet, especially on dips if the stock corrects towards 770, 775 levels.
All right, so that's the view coming in from both our fundamental guests as well as the technical angle on what should you do with Tata Motors as well as Bajaj Auto, whether you should buy right now or no. So thank you so much, Kunal, as well as Mr. Chokalingam, for sharing your views where it comes in particular to both of these stocks in the auto space. Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now Sell Now on ET Now show, where we get you answers for all of your stock related queries. Remember, viewers, you can connect with us live on the WhatsApp number that is flashing on your screen. Do remember to mention your name, the stock that you're looking to invest in, the name of that stock as well. And if you're already invested, mention the buy price, the quantity, and well as the time horizon. In that way, we will be able to guide you better and take your queries to the right expert. We have Kunal Botha, who's joining us on the technicals and who will answer short-term queries, while for the long-term queries and on the fundamentals, we have Mr. Chokalingam on the show. Once again, good morning to both of you gentlemen. And let me kickstart with the first query that I have. And this one is for you, Mr. Chokalingam, and Mr. Sunil Ji has mentioned, welcome Mr. Chokalingam, you are my favorite, and he wants to know about Bombay Burma. He's saying that he's mentioned that it's one of your favorite stock as well, but he wants to know, is it a good buy at current rate for a period of 3 years, and also if possible if you could give top 3 investment ideas. Looks like the viewer also wants to wish you a very happy new year, Mr. Chokalingam.
Thanks for his kind words. Unfortunately, because of personal trading, I am not allowed to speak on Bombay Burma right now. I am extremely sorry.
What would be your 3 top picks then, if there are any, if you can suggest to viewers apart from Bombay Burma, since you cannot speak on it right now?
Yes, the one stock I am extremely bullish is Nesco. I believe it's a multi-bagger, possible multi-bagger stock, and I like it a lot. I mean, among all the listed 4,000 small and mid-cap stock, this is my most favorite stock. And we have personally invested, company invested, my family members have invested, and this I like most because huge cash holding and huge land bank in Goregaon and connected by metro train and good management. Despite consistently increasing the capital expenditure, the cash position also increasing year after year. I believe that Bombay being, V-shaped, 3 sides water, and a lot of wealthy people, upper middle class people are here, and the land bank is limited. I think there's going to be a tremendous opportunity for unlocking from the land bank this company holds in terms of developing IT corporate park, expanding exhibition center, things like that. So therefore, I like this stock for medium to long term most.
That's the topic coming in from Mr. Chokalingam. But Kunal, coming to you for the next query. This one is from Ron, and he wants your advice on switching some of his portfolio shares, and wants your opinion if he should make a switch from Bajaj Finance to Bank of Maharashtra or HDFC Bank, and if yes, then any entry price for these counters. And the another alternative is from switching Biocon to stocks like BEL and NMDC.
Well, I would probably look at so the second part, which is switching from Biocon to BEL and NMDC. It's a bit of a mix because NMDC is something which looks attractive on the charts. BEL, of course, has been one of the top picks from the defense pack. That stock has already run up exceedingly high. Maybe I think buying on dip could be a better strategy for BEL. But on the other hand, Biocon is also something which has given a recent breakout. I think the stock has come back into I think 1.5 year kind of a breakout in the charts, double bottom formations, and a lot of other confirmations which have happened for the stock. So I believe Biocon should also do pretty well for itself going forward. So I would suggest that maybe stick on to BEL and NMDC as of now. And for Biocon, you can I think consider buying even at current levels. On the other part, Bajaj Finance is something which is on the verge of a breakout. So I think the stock has been a huge underperformer. So there was this wave where many of these NBFC stocks, they were going through their own struggles and own concerns, and that's why I think Bajaj Finance has underperformed the index by a huge margin. I would believe that possibly in this wave, the stock can cross above the 8,000 levels also. So I would recommend a hold on Bajaj Finance.
All right, this one's coming from Reshma Bhatia, and Kunal, this one is also for you. She has HAL, which she's purchased at a price of around 2,328 rupees per share. She's already sitting with a 30% profit. What should she do? Look to book out profits or wait with HAL? And if you advise wait, then what's the target price that she can look at in the near term?
See, difficult to give a target price, but when trends are so strong and so fierce on the charts, on medium term and long term basis, then we always recommend to ride the trend till the time you see decisive signs that trends have reversed. So you may probably lose out another 5-7% whenever the trends start to get into a reversal mode. But at least you'll probably be able to ride the entire trend as such. Now for HAL, the good part is that the indicators are nowhere near to the oversold territory. So whether you look at it on the weekly charts, where the RSI is still around 83-84 levels, Of course, even on the daily time frame, it's a lot lesser. So that indicates that the stock has potential to rise up further from current levels. A better strategy is to try and have maybe a benchmark level of trading stop loss and continue to hold on till the time the stock is trading above those benchmark levels, which you can keep.
All right. Mr. Chokalingam, the next query that I have is coming from Raghuram from Trichy, and he's holding two stocks where his buying price is very near to the current market price. Firstly, it's PCBL, where he's holding 160 shares at a price of 260 rupees. And he also has SCI, Shipping Corporation of India, 100 in quantity at a price of 176 rupees. What's the outlook? Should he continue to hold on or switch to any other names?
SCI valuation comfort is not there, and also no taker for strategic sale of this company. But PCBL you can hold on for two reasons. The tire industry is doing extremely well because of excellent performance of automobile sector and also huge demand from the replacement market. The carbon black is used in tire making. The second reason for this stock is that suddenly the oil price has crashed. It has crashed almost 20% from the 3 months high. So derivative oil is a major input for PCBL. So therefore, you can continue to hold on to PCBL.
All right, this one is coming from Mr. Sugumar, who's writing to us from Chennai, and he's holding GSFC 1000 shares at a price of 165 rupees per share. Kunal, he wants to know whether he should book partial profits or exit completely or stay put with the company.
I think you should probably book partial profits, and the reasons for that is because the last 2 days of price action suggests, and so last 2 days of price action for GSFC from 300 to 272, 275 in a matter of 2-3 trading sessions. Today's high the stock has made around 305 and so far it looks like the stock is not sustaining the highs of 300 plus levels, and it's come down sub the 300 mark, which means that this 300 level is acting as a resistance for the stock or some sort of a supply zone. So I would probably believe that it's a very good strategy to book out at least partial profits, if not more than that, and look out to buy this back on dips or on corrective phases in case if the stock say happens to drop back to that 260 or 250 mark. It's again a good price point to try and buy back whatever you sell at current levels.
All right, Kunal, once again coming to you because this one is specifically for you coming from Veni. Amongst the real estate counters like DLF, Godrej Properties and Macrotech Developers, any stock that you like at this point in time and any entry price for the same as well?
So DLF is something which I do recommend even at current levels, but then what you have to do is if you're looking to buy the real estate pack, you have to have a extremely lower sized position for the entire pack because of the huge run up the stocks have done. So it's not as if that there's no room for the upside for these names, but then the quantum of major uptrend seems to have already happened for these stocks on the short term basis. So you might get into a phase of where these stocks may give you small short term uptrends, but then they would also give you those heightened periods of volatility and sharp phases of correction, which you should try and take advantage of. So net I would believe DLF, Anantraj, Godrej Properties, these are the three stocks which you can consider buying at current levels. But as I said, keep your initial position size lower and then use opportunities of corrections or dips to add further.
All right, Kunal, I'll give you a breather then. Let me take the next query to Mr. Chokalingam, and this one is coming from Nishi, who's writing to us from Bangalore. And Mr. Chokalingam, Nishi is one of those lucky investors who actually tries to bid for IPO allotment and bags one. So she's got Muthoot Microfinance as well as Credo, which she got both of these counters in the IPO. Should she stay put with both of them or look at other avenues of investment?
I think both of them one should start selling from current price levels. Valuation comforts are not there. That is the case for 8 out of 10 IPOs which get listed. So this is a good opportunity to book profits.
That's the take coming in on Muthoot Microfinance. But with this, viewers, it's time to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Buy Now Sell Now show, where we get you answers for all your stock related queries, and continuing the same today with Kunal Bothra as well as Mr. Chokalingam. The next query that I have is for you, Kunal. Karthik wants to have a short term view on Canara Bank for the next 3 to 6 months. Can he go ahead and buy this counter?
I think it's a good price to buy the stock at current levels of 455. And with the next 3 to 6 months time horizon, I would actually look out for the stock not just breaking past above the previous highs of 470 approximately, but possibly I think I would look out for say in the range of 500 to 520 as a potential target for Canara Bank.
All right, the next one is coming from Anuradha, who's writing to us from Mumbai. This one's for you, Mr. Chokalingam. A very pointed, very sorted question that she wants to ask you. One is that she's looking to invest in growth or consumption sector, but she's looking at any small or mid-cap company in the liquor, hotel, sugar or the cement space, and she wants to invest in stocks in the sector which are not market leaders. So she's not looking to invest in a USL or an Indian Hotels or, for the matter of fact, Balrampur Chini or even Ultratech.
Yeah, if she is a very long-term investor, she can invest in East India Hotel Limited, that is EIH Limited, and also Taj GVK. I believe the hotel industry will continue to do well in the short to medium term, and these are the two top picks from our desk. And sugar, I would suggest wait for some time because the December results could have some negative surprises. Otherwise, she can consider stock like Nesco also. It's not very popular, not covered by many. These are some of the stocks I would recommend in the small and mid cap space now.
Right, Kunal, the next query that I have is coming from Suresh, and good to see that we have a viewer from Ludhiana. He wants to take on Larsen and Toubro. He's already holding 60 shares from a price of 2,050 rupees. Since for the past 2 years he's been holding this, but is this a good price to add more for L&T?
Well, it may not be the best price to add. The stock is already at a lifetime high. I think maybe just about with a margin of 0.5% or so. But then I think the stock has this tendency that once in 3 months or in a 4-month period, the stock tries to come back and retrace towards its 50-day moving average. I think the last time we saw the stock retracing towards its 50 DMA was end of October, start of November for the stock when it fell down towards 3,000 odd levels. Currently, the stock is at 3,550, 570, which means wait out for a point of retracement for the stock closer to its 50 DMA. Currently, the average is placed at 3,250 levels for L&T. So, in case if the stock happens to dip down to those indicator points, that could be a good level where you may look to average further. But for the existing quantity which you have, I think you should continue to hold on.
All right, this one is also for you, Mr. Chokalingam. I'll take this one for you because Sudha is a long-term investor and she wants to know which two stocks should she look to invest in out of 3. The stock that she is looking to invest in is SRF, Polycab and Alkyl Amines. Out of these 3, which are the 2 that you would advise her to invest right now for the longer term?
Still the chemical sector is going through a lot of difficulties, and valuation comfort is not there in all the amines. But other 2 are quite a decent stock to invest for the long term.
All right. Mr. Chokalingam, what's your view coming in on TVS Motors? Kunal Giriraj is already holding the shares from a price of 2,040 rupees. He is holding 75 in quantity. Is that a hold or exit at this point?
I think one can exit. The stock has already gone up by about 100%. Great company, but it has largely played out already.
Okay, so that's the fundamental take. But Kunal, your advice on the technical front?
See, I think you should look to at least start booking out 50% profits over here for TVS Motors because it seems like that the stock is getting into a plateauing zone in terms of indicators. Most of the RSIs, etc., they've started to show signs of divergence, and the indicators like MACD, etc., they are also into a bit of a cool-off mode, which means that potentially the prices should come back towards the 1800, 1850 mark for TVS Motors. So I think it's a good price to try and book profits as well as look to buy back in case if the stock happens to come closer to 1850 levels.
All right, this one is coming in from Sagar and he wants a fundamental take coming in on Phoenix Mills, and he's written to you, Mr. Chokalingam. He's saying that he's holding massive quantity of Phoenix Mills since the last decade. So he's been holding at the levels of about 190 or 200 or so, and he's saying the stock has continued to give him fantastic returns, continues to do so, as you can see it on your screen. He wants to know, but with the rise of online shopping and competition brewing in that particular space, do you see any impact on their business in centrally especially in the metro cities, or only compared to online platforms which have the pan-India network as a whole? Any short-term or medium-term numbers that you are working around with when it comes to Phoenixville? And also, should this particular company worry about competition increasing in online space?
Online space will give tough competition to Phoenix Mill, but because it has mixed sale of commodities with the entertainment segment as well. Quite diversified model of brands they have in every place. But stock has already played out. In 2002, the market cap used to be less than 100 crore for this company. It has done phenomenally well. I would suggest that you should partially at least sell and put them in the fixed deposit, if not the whole lot.
All right. But Mr. Chokalingam, the next query that I have is on one of the newsmakers for today, that is Z Entertainment. The stock was under pressure but seems to be recovering from the day's lowest point. And Arjun wants to know, is this a good opportunity to get into this particular stock with a one-year investment horizon?
Yes, for short-term investors, it may be a good day to pick up. Not for medium to long term, short term, because it corrected, and then again the consolidation will continue in this television channel business. But long term, it would be a little risky for this company because of competition coming from OTT platforms. But short term, there could be an opportunity.
All right, this one has come from KN Bhatt, who's writing to us from Karwar. This one is for you, Kunal. 3,000 shares of IDFC First Bank purchased at 58 rupees per share. He wants to know what next.
See, I think the stock is struggling over the last, I think, 5-6 months. We've seen the stock going into a downtrend, a mild bounce, then a second round of correction so far, which has seeped into the stock price. I would believe that maybe the stock would probably remain into this consolidative zone for the next 2-3 months. Now, since you've bought at lower levels, I think you can continue to hold on. And I'm assuming that you're a long-term investor. So I think on both aspects, you should continue to hold on.
All right, moving on, and Mr. Chokalingam, the next query is on Happy Forgings, one of the recent listing, and Akshay got an allotment in the IPO. Is this a good stock to hold for the long term?
I haven't tracked this company since it's a new company.
All right. Then because of limited chart history, I think that Kunal will also skip this. But the next query that I have is for you, Mr. Chokalingam. This one is on Ucro Capital. Murli is holding 900 shares from a price of 306 rupees. What's the view maybe for the next 2 years?
I think they're fairly priced. I mean, most of these small, mid-sized companies are fully priced. I would suggest booking profit.
This one has come from Manivanan from Bangalore. He wants to know whether it's right time to buy South Indian Bank right now for the long-term investment. What's your take, Mr. Chokalingam? Do you track South Indian Bank closely, as closely as Bank of Maharashtra?
Certainly, yes. I would prefer Karur Vysya Bank to South Indian Bank for a couple of reasons. The quality of asset is far superior, and even growth has been very good. Recently, it has beaten the industry growth, Karur Vysya Bank. And also, most important figure is that SBI Mutual Fund, ICICI Mutual Fund, they have got approval to increase the stake to 10% from the RBI, which is a big positive trigger in the short term itself. So therefore, I would suggest Karur Vysya Bank.
Right. Kunal, the next query is from Madhuri, and she wants a short-term technical check on Viniti Organics as well as Tata Chemicals. How are they looking? She didn't tell that she's looking to buy these counters and what's her rationale, but just wants a take on these.
See, Viniti Organics is still struggling below the 200-day moving average. Trends are still bearish for the stock. I would suggest an avoid on the stock if you're considering to buy the stock at current levels. I think wait out for a breakout above the 1800 mark, and more of not just a breakout, but I think the stock sustaining above those 1800 levels, which is also the 200 DMA. That could be a trigger point for you to buy the stock. Tata Chemicals, on the other hand, I think has already confirmed a breakout for itself. The stock had consolidated for quite some time. The good part about the chart so far is the golden crossover on the daily time frame, where the 50 DMA has crossed above the 200 moving average. This should also probably try and give more catalyst towards the near-term trends for Tata Chemicals. So I would be bullish on the stock even at current zone. I would suggest a buy on Tata Chemicals.
All right, so that's the take coming in on Tata Chemicals. On that note, we'll actually slip into a break in this edition of Buy Now Sell Now. When we come back, we'll continue taking your query, viewers, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now Sell Now on ET Now, and let's continue taking all of your stock-related queries. And we have a lot of them actually coming in from Mr. Chokalingam. But let me actually take this to you, Kunal, then. And this one is coming in from viewer, that's RK, but okay, it's for long term. So let me actually take it to Mr. Chokalingam instead. He wants to invest around 2 lakh rupees in a more riskier stocks, is what he's saying. He wants to know out of 2 out of 4 stocks that he suggested, which one should he look to invest in? He wants to invest either in Ratan Power, Ratan India, Suzlon or Servotech, and for the long term. Mr. Chokalingam, is it advisable for anybody who has the money but should look at riskier bets for the longer term as well?
I'm sorry. I may be absolutely wrong, but for this kind of stock, we can toss a coin and then decide. I won't be able to take a risk of recommending any of these stocks. Just if you take a Suzlon, it is trading, forget the price to earning, it is trading price to sales of around 14-15 times. So even if you assume 100% profit margin, it's trading around 14-15 PE, whereas the margin in the latest quarter is only 11%. So I won't recommend any of those 4 stocks.
So Chokalingam is going to stay clear of these 4 stocks. Kunal, will you toss the coin? Do you think that it makes sense to invest in any of these counters, even if you have the funds available?
Well, I think Ratan India is something which he had recommended, if you remember, just during the Diwali when the stock was, I think, at 60 odd levels, if I'm not wrong, with a potential target of 88 to 90. So I think I would still stand by with that kind of a stock. It's still, I think, few bucks away from its, from those target levels of 88, 90 approximately. So I think if you have that kind of a risk appetite, then I think you can probably consider this stock out of the 3 which you mentioned.
All right, moving on, and Mr. Chokalingam, Karan is highlighting that earlier maybe you have recommended KCP, and he bought these shares at a price of 150 rupees. Would you still advise to buy at current market price? Karan is at a profit in this particular name, but can he add more of this stock in his portfolio?
Yes, we have a coverage and we have given a target price of 200. We initiate around 130. Of course, from initiating price, it has gone up already 60%. So normally I don't advise aggressive buying after it has gone up substantially. But if you can take little risk, you can still buy it because promoter holding is minority and there is a lot of smart buying in the stock. It's a great deep value stock. The cement business is valued hardly at around $40 if I give a replacement value for sugar and engineering business. So if you can take little 5-10% risk, still it's a great buy for long term.
With that, let's kickstart with the rapid fire. The first one coming your way, Kunal. The stock name is DCB Bank. Badri wants to know what's the future outlook of the counter. Can he enter right now or should he wait for some correction?
Extremely bullish. You can consider buying at current levels.
Mr. Chokalingam PVN Rao is holding shares of Aarti Industries, but that's not doing well for him. Should he make a switch to any other name? What will be your advice? And if yes, then any recommendation?
He can shift to Infosys. Still Aarti will have problem.
All right, Kunal, Neha from Boston has investment in Rain Industries, purchased at around 224 rupees per share. She is suffering loss. Do you think it makes sense for her to look to shift to Tata Power and Tata Motors now to make up the losses?
Excellent strategy. I think you should consider doing that.
Mr. Chokalingam, Subramaniam is holding shares of Elcon Engineering from a price of close to 300 rupees. What's the outlook on this?
Sell.
All right, Zenith from Ranchi has 100 shares of delivery at 400 rupees per share, wants to switch to Servotech Power and Pradeep Phosphate. Does it even make sense, Mr. Chokalingam?
You can book profit.
Okay, the next query that I have is on Riskier. Kunal, would you advise on Riskier? Anupama is holding 100 shares from a price of 231 rupees.
Hold on, keep a stop loss of 200 on closing basis. That's the 200 DMA.
Amarnath wants to know about Page Industries, if he can buy right now for the longer term. Mr. Chokalingam?
Suggest wait for December result and take a call.
Okay. Okay, Kunal, your advice on Jubilant Food. Rajesh Menon in holding these shares from a price of 598 rupees. Is that a hold or sell?
As of now, hold, but then on bounce closer to 545, 550, you should look to exit.
Bank of Baroda for the next 3 to 6 months. Kunal, our viewer has 2,000 shares at 80 rupees per share. Does it make sense to shift to some other stock or stay put with this?
Stay put.
Mr. Chokalingam, Chandrasekhar is holding HUL from a price of 2,630 rupees. Hold or exit?
Exit.
All right, with that, we come to the end of the rapid fire as well as the queries. Thank you so much, Mr. Chokalingam, as well as Kunal, for joining us on the show, giving your take on Bajaj Auto, Tata Motors, as well as resolving all of our stock-related queries. And viewers, if we've not been able to take your query today, please don't be disheartened. We'll be back tomorrow and we'll take as many queries as possible. For now, it's a goodbye from Shrishti, myself, and the team who put the show together. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned. Markets at Noon is coming up next.